All right, all right. You got your pen and paper because we're gonna go through the goals first, and the corporations will be coming shortly. You ready for that, Holly?
Yeah, I'm listening. But the things I don't have no pen and paper because I'm getting ready to go out. But I'm listening because I'm listening while I'm shaving.
That, bro. Okay, if you don't mind, if you want, please tell me about yourself. And I do want you to know they are recorded, so there will be access to, you know what I'm saying, the recordings. That way you can go back, take notes, that type of jazz. All right. But yeah, tell me about yourself real quick, bro. That way I can, kind of tailor it to you right now.
Well, I about 3 years ago, I decided I didn't want to work for nobody else, so I decided to do things on my own. So one of the things that I've been doing was selling T-shirts, like do custom. I have a print T-shirt, a custom print business. We also sell welcome sign, decal for your car, like if you want to put like nice little decoration and thing on your car window, or also your office window. So we sell those. What else? We sell wooden bracelets. We do a variety of things. So that's how I make money.
Yeah, that's dope. And you know what? The cool thing about it is to have clothing, right? To have a clothing line, it's illegal for people to be out here in their birthday suits. So everybody needs clothes. So yeah, I think that's dope. And I like that you said you're also, making sure there's signage in other areas too, which is definitely that's something that's needed for every single business. Every single business needs what you provide. So that's amazing. JB John, what's up, bro? Feel free to introduce yourself real quick.
I'm sorry, brushing my teeth and getting my hair together. But yeah, what's going on?
We good, man. We good. So today we're gonna be talking about goal identification as well as, my partner, he'll be sharing the 5 different corporations you can leverage for your business and finding out which one is right for you. So I'm gonna get started just sharing some stuff that you guys could think about. Know that our rooms are recorded for content purposes as well as the ability for people to get access to the replays in the event we're getting ready. We shaving, shaving our beards, getting ready, brushing our teeth, whatever we got going on. Know that there will be access to the replays. So I'm just going to start going through it and start, getting your creative juices flowing as you guys are preparing for your day, as you guys are working towards your ultimate freedom and generational wealth, especially as Black men. And so you could be encouraged with your vision. All right, so I want you guys to be encouraged to think about significance. What is significance to you, i.e., the importance of what you bring to the table? Think about what comes naturally. You're also going to want to think about those moments when, in those moments, what made you feel the most valued. And the reason why I'm asking questions like this, because when you think about in terms of scaling your business, if you become a Fortune 500 company, an LLC, if you decide to get into the nonprofit area and you start outsourcing, you want to make sure that the parts that you like, that make you happy, that make you feel significant, you're still rocking it out. And then you outsource everything else to everybody else in their strengths, leveraging their strengths. So you also want to think about the essence of who you are at your core. For an example, me, I'm an encourager at my core. I got love for everybody, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that naturally happens. And one way to find out is to literally ask your loved ones, people who are honest with you, hey, if you could describe how I am or who I am in like 3 words, what would that be? And then they'll tell you, a bunch of people will tell you, and then you look at the highest common denominators, and then that's what you leverage when it comes to creating your content, marketing what you do, because that's how people are receiving what it is that you have to say. So you also want to think about if your biggest goals, right? If you believed you could not fail, what would you do? How big do you want to go? I think about this, right? Because this is what gets me up in the morning, right? This is what gets me out of bed. If I believed I could not fail, I would donate, you know what I'm saying, $2 million to help people prevent or fight type 2 diabetes or diabetes as a whole in holistic ways, because my great grandmother, she had type 2, And I remember when she lost her legs. I was young and everything like that. She passed when I was 14, but that's one of the goals that I have, and I believe that I'm not gonna fail. So I'm definitely working towards that, even if it takes, you know what I'm saying, a couple of years or 10 years. I'm definitely gonna do that because she means the world to me, and put it in her name. So we also want to talk about creating your foundation because that brings clarity in who you are, what your goals are in depth, why you are going after it, and how you best learn. So here's another question you want to think about. The following people inspire me because they do what? So when I think about this, I think about, like my grandmother. Not my great grandmother, my grandmother. She's very graceful. She's very kind. She's very loving. She goes above and beyond. That's what she does. That's who she is. And then I also think about people like Monique Idlet. The way that she does business is so awesome. She's not predatory. Like there's a lot of people out here that are like that. She actually cares about the people. She's building relationships with each and every single person that she comes across, and she really wants people to win. So she inspires me. And so even LeBron, right? I like Bron. Like, I know, there's the constant debate, Kobe, Jordan, Bron. The reason why I like LeBron is because he literally wanted to make sure that he gave back to his own community when he created, I forgot what the name of the school is, but the school that he created, the stuff that he's doing, and the fact that he has a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship with his spouse, and they're creating just this amazing legacy. But it's not just about him. He's making sure that he shares his wealth, and he's giving and pouring back into people that have poured into him and supported him. And so those are three people that inspire me. So you really want to think about, some people that inspire you and why. And those are some of the things that you want to think about when it comes to what you're going to do long term. And so you want to also know what your love language is. Now, I know that's kind of funny to think about, but hear me out real quick. For an example, my love language is quality time. So when I build my business, and as I've been building my business, I like to definitely spend time building that relationship with people. And it's a rapport, it's a the opportunity to get to know your name, get to know, what I'm saying, what you're working towards, because then I can encourage you in that because I actually care about you, and we're able to build a professional relationship that lasts beyond 10 years because I want you to win. And so quality time, that means one-on-ones, that means spending time, that means being able to look people in their eyes, shake their hands, things like that, or even what we're doing right here on Fanbase, being able to communicate, hear each other's voices, we see each other's pictures, and we're still able to build some sort of professional relationship. And so that's quality time to me, and it's something of substance. We're not just sitting here, just talking just to talk, but we're talking and encouraging one another. Then you also want to think about what makes you happy. So these are the things that you want to incorporate more and more in your business. And so, for an example, singing makes me happy. I cannot sing. It's horrible. It's God was like, you ain't finna sing, Imani. And I got a little stage presence, but it's horrible. But there's such an amazing feeling that we get when we do karaoke or when we do sing, and it makes me feel good. And so, like, if I'm in a sad mood, that's one of the things I'll lean on, and I'll rock out to Jonas Brothers real quick, or Bop, hit up Dancing Queen, some of them disco favorites, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like it's impossible to be sad if you're singing an Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Do you remember the 21st night of September? So that, think about those things that make you happy, because that matters, you guys. You know what I'm saying? And so you also want to ask yourself, what kind of impact are you looking to make? A great example, like I said earlier, what LeBron James did, what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He said, okay, now I've got this money, let me invest it, and let me go ahead and scale my reach. And so that's something that you're going to want to think about, one of the impacts that I'm talking about, making the whole situation with diabetes. And so that's really important, because you don't want to make money just to make money. You want to make sure that you're rocking it out. I don't know if you guys have seen or observed how the wealthiest people, they have they're big givers. A lot of the times they're giving to organizations that aren't really helping people, but it's a tax write-off. And so what we could do is intentionally give where it's actually going to matter, where it's actually going to move, where it's going to help our families out, right? Another thing that I really would like to do is create things and opportunities for my own family. I have a whole bunch of cousins, And yeah, on my father's side, they rabbits. And I'm the oldest. I'm the firstborn on both sides of my family. And I'm like, yo, y'all keep having kids. You know what I'm saying? But for them, they are my heart. And when I think about, the impact I want to make on their lives, I want them to be able to have my resources so that they could build whatever it is they want to build. Does anybody have any questions so far? Because there's a few more. We got some more goals and stuff like that that'll help. But yeah, I'm here. So does anybody have any questions so far? All right. All right. I know y'all getting ready, so I'm gonna just keep going. So to take it deeper, right? We want to separate so that we can combine our goals, right? So spiritually, what are your spiritual goals? Whatever your faith is, you want to make sure that's something that you keep and you stand on as you're going out and as you're growing and leveling up throughout your life. Why? Because when the world is chaotic, you got to make sure that whatever faith you stand on, those principles, those are the principles that keep you grounded. Those are the principles that will help elevate you. Then we're going to get into our mental goals. A lot of people, a lot of the most successful people, they intentionally meditate each and every single day. Why? Because the world is chaotic. So they'll take a moment, you know what I'm saying, and they'll meditate. And if I recall correctly, every hour that we intentionally meditate, that's 9 more minutes added to our life. And when you think about monks and everything like that, and they're meditating, they're naturally happy because our thoughts, on average, we're having 30,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And that's with what we watch, what we listen to, what we eat, everything, what we see, like everything. Everything can affect our mindset. And if we are the sum total of our environment, we want to make sure that we take the opportunity to meditate on the things that we actually want. If that's peace, then we got to create that environment of peace so that we can have that. A really phenomenal book is one of my favorites. It's called Atomic Habits, and that's by James Clear. And what he does is he literally breaks down multiple ways on how you can invest in your own environment to be the environment that you want, that will nurture and cultivate what your goals are. So if you want more peace, you know what I'm saying? You could have a room, create a meditation room that has your favorite candles, that has maybe your favorite music or subliminal affirmations, that has maybe an instrument, like, if you like guitar, or that has your favorite video games already set, ready to go. Maybe even tossing in, with your man cave, maybe even if you like marijuana, those things that make you relax. You want those. And so you want to make sure that you set that time aside each and every single day, especially when you're on the hustle building your business, because that's what's going to keep you going. Meanwhile, everybody else who doesn't stop to take a moment to recuperate, they're going to experience burnout. And when they experience burnout, they take massive steps back, and that causes them to lose momentum and no longer gain progress. And another thing you could do is, I want to say, lavender, or like that soft purple color. It gives a very calming effect. So think about on a psychological level, what kind of colors make us psychologically relaxed? That's one of them. And so when we see food restaurants and when we see ads and all these things out here, when they use red, instantly, psychologically, that means hurry up. When we see yellow, that means slow down. When we see blue, there's different variations of blue. We got trust, and we got other parts of blue, and then we've got maybe depression. But like, even Facebook spent thousands of dollars for coders and developers to create the like button, the way that it happens, the way that the color that it is. I mean, down to like just the button itself. They spent thousands of dollars to design that to keep people addicted to likes. So I just want you guys to definitely start to think deeper on that. Then you want to think about your physical goals. What's the point of being successful if you can't enjoy what it is that you created? One of my favorite songs is 6 Foot, 7 Foot. I mentioned it yesterday. I'm going to mention it again today, by Lil Weezy F Baby, when he says, "The fruits of my labor, I enjoy them while they still ripe." That line is so dope. He's like, I'm a ball until they turn off the field lights. The fruits of my labor, I enjoy them while they still ripe. What's the point of us going so far, creating an impact, if we can't even enjoy it? If we can't go on the adventures we want to go to, if we can't go skydiving because we have heart problems based upon what we've been eating, you know what I'm saying? It's 80% what we eat, 20% what we do. So be encouraged to incorporate, some more healthy stuff so that you can go on ahead and rock it out. And if you love to lift, you know what I'm saying, be encouraged to continuously do that, because it's a fight, and you want an energy type of plan. If you find yourself getting exhausted each and every single day around a certain time, start to assess and audit what it is you've been eating. Because if what you've been eating is causing that crash in the afternoon, you might want to switch that out to something else that will give you the energy to get you throughout the rest of the day. And that's more sustainable, opposed to a quick like Red Bull type of thing. And meanwhile, those energy drinks, they're banned in the sports athletic world because there's literal dopamine in there. And last I checked, I mean, this was like maybe 10 years ago, I remember learning that they send like 6 people to the hospital per day. So, be careful with what you incorporate, saying drink your water, replenish yourself, find healthy forms of caffeine. There's these great chocolates. It's called Awake. They're called Awake. You can find them on Amazon and then at some gas stations. But it's like a piece of chocolate and it has caffeine in it, but it's like a healthier version in comparison to like maybe the most popular coffee, because there's a whole bunch of additional additives in coffee. And like for me, I used to not be able to drink coffee because I drank it so much that it just like, took my adrenaline levels to another higher level. And then I started to be a little anxious and everything like that. So definitely listen to your body so that you can enjoy the fruits of y'all labor, guys. And then ask yourself, what are your relationship goals? Man, this is huge, right? When it comes to the people that we marry, the people that we date, even our family, who we have in our ear matters. If we're being shit on or shat on, look at the past tense of shit, right? If we being shat on a regular basis by someone who claims that they love us, then we got to love them from a distance. If they family, and if they not family, and we able to get out of that situation, like for real, be encouraged to get out of that situation. Why? Because why allow someone who would benefit from what you create cause you to take a step back from your purpose? Nah, you deserve the absolute best. You deserve what you're creating is bigger than you. It's for your generational wealth. It's for the impact you're looking to make. So the partner that you have, that matters big time, because during those late nights, they need to support you, and vice versa, right? You guys got to be able to pour into each other. And if they're not pouring into you, to be honest, you got to think about it long term, 5-10 years from now. If they're the same person, would you still want to be with them? And so I want to encourage you guys to start to, if you're not dating or if you're starting to date, look for, the partner or the spouse that's going to pour into you. Now, she might not be, at the regular places that you frequent. You got to start going out and trying new things and looking in different places. Maybe you're interested in a woman who's more of a bookworm. Then that means she at the library. Maybe you're interested in a woman who's healthy and fit. That means she's consistently at the gym or at the rock climbing place. There are plenty of good women out here, great women, that would love to pour into their man, and vice versa. So know that they exist, and I want to encourage you with that. So definitely think about your relationship goals, because if she ain't loving on you, then she ain't worth it. And if your family ain't loving on you, you know what I'm saying, then you definitely got to love your family from a distance. And that will totally help you and be extremely important long term. What's up, Sarah? How you doing, sis?
Hey, Money. I'm good. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. We going through the goal identification at this time. And so I'm shooting a bunch of questions that'll help everybody kind of get their creative juices flowing as they create, a more solid foundation for their business. And then we're going to go into 5 different types of corporations that you can benefit from. And that's going to come up very soon. But yes, can you introduce yourself real quick, Sarah? That way, and just know that it's also recorded so everybody can have access to the replay. But yes, please feel free to introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I am a spiritual healer and sacred sexuality coach. I deal with trauma. I'm basically a trauma healer. I heal with some glorious sets of gifts that God has given me, and so I just kind of dive in and help you remove blockages and things that may be causing you not to actually focus on what you're setting in life. And I also do sex coaching for couples and singles. I teach them how to actually enjoy sex because it's meant to be pleasurable. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Heck yes. Thank you so much for introducing yourself, Sarah. Hallie said he got some amazing clothing line as well as branding for multiple avenues and things that you need in your life. And JB John, he's rocking some things out and he's like, I'm here. And he's just, rocking things out and finding out what can be done. And we're going to have some more fun. So next up, y'all. Oh, does anybody have any questions before we continue on? I know you guys are, our brothers are getting ready and everything like that, but I want to make sure
you didn't tell us what your background. We don't know, what you used to do.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, got you. No problem. No doubt. My apologies. So my name is Imani Allen. And my background is in theater, marketing, having fun, energy, right? And I like to say I'm your favorite church girl from the hood. I grew up around a bunch of people, even white people, and I love my community. So that's like a quick background on me. And also one of my goals is to be a walking book for our community to empower, educate, share all of the knowledge that I've gained, because I feel as though it's irresponsible to learn all of these things and not share it, empowering our brothers and sisters and people who are interested and want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my background, and I provide marketing consultations as well as marketing services. And like I was saying earlier, with the quality time being my love language, things like this is one of the things that makes me happy and makes me feel loved when you guys are like, yo, okay, I like what you're saying. This is helping me out. That's one of the things that makes me happy. And so it's some of the things that I really like to do. But yeah. Pardon, sorry, I missed what you said. My apologies. Okay. So yeah, I missed what you said, Hallie. My apologies, sir. But yeah, so now we're gonna talk about our familial goals. What kind of family do you want to have? Even if you have kids now, that doesn't mean that you and your family can't grow as a family. You know what I'm saying? If you got, your sons or your daughters or your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, maybe this is the opportunity to create the type of environment you want to share with them. If you love with your daughters, you know what I'm saying, having a mani-pedi day, even if you with dad or tea time, then intentionally create that opportunity so that you can spend that with your daughters. If it's, what I'm saying, your son, you get your father's son time where you guys go on ahead and you do your man stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's a mother and son, then you go on ahead and you show him how he should be loved, so that when he gets older, he knows what kind of woman to actually look out for. So think about your familial goals. What kind of family do you want? Do you want a healthy family? Do you want a family that deals with problems together, that learns how to communicate? And I say that because a lot of the times, many of us don't know how to necessarily communicate in healthy ways. And we need each other in order to do that. And so it's great to learn how to communicate even more and more, especially in healthy ways. So there's a book, it's called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. That's by John C. Maxwell. Very excellent book, because it's more so, instead of talking just to talk, we listen first, we bring in the psychology of the situation, and we're able to communicate in a way that people will receive it and the way that you'll be heard. And so that's a beautiful thing when you think about family. And now let's get into it more on the business side. What are your financial goals? If you are working a 9-to-5, or if you're rocking some other things out, you want to think about maybe 3 months, 12 months, 5 years, what you want during those time frames or whatever time frames you create. For an example, by the end of 3 months, I want to reach, 10K per month. So that means when I do the math on that, I got to think about, okay, so 10K per month. Let me see. I'm going to find my calculator real quick. I'm going to do the math. Just to give an example. Calculator. So 10K. And we'll just say a $1,000 product, right? So of course I need to sell 10. So I would need to sell 10 $1,000 products per month in order to reach that 10K a month. So that means I got to look at my product and or services, and then find my target audience, and then get out there, put myself out there, start marketing that product or service to reach that 10K a month. And then maybe, I want to reach 1 million by the end of by the end of the 12 months. Then that's when you break down how much you would need to make per day. I want to say it's $1,442 per day. And so breaking that down, okay, a 10K product, $1,000 product or service, that means I would need to sell 1.5 per day in order to reach that 1 million at the end of the year. Or here's a great example, right? Facebook gives us a 5,000 friend limit. So if you max out that friends list and you max that sucker out to where it's 5,000 people that are actually interested in what you provide, and you sell a $200 product to each and every single one of them over a period of time, that's $1 million. Or you flip that joint around and you're looking for 200 people that are interested in the $5,000 product or service that you offer. So yes, that's a great idea to think about your financial goals. You want to do the math, be encouraged to do that. Bernard, can you please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do? I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
Oh, I'm a graphic artist, and I create logo designs. That's it. I want to open up a room. I can't wait. I opened it up. Nobody joined in, but it's a really good question I want to ask people. And I asked a couple people yesterday. But being that we in this room about goals and stuff like that, I guess I'll ask you all.
All right, that sounds good. So this is what... Oh, sorry, Holly. What were you saying, Holly?
I was telling him that we were listening.
Okay, this is...
When does success become a reality?
Success comes a reality when you actually feel it's happening, when you reach your significance, when you are making your impact, when you feel happy. And that's why I think personally significance is far more important than success, because it's not necessarily a monetary goal, but what are you doing when you start to reach your goals?
I was going to say it depends on what your reality of success is. That's when you reach it. When you have whatever reality you feel success is, and you reach that, you reached it. But everybody's reality is different.
That's cool. All right.
All right. So we're going to get back into it. Dope question, Bernard. So now you guys want to think about your career goals, right? So for an example, after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was like, all right, I really want to be on the back end of things. Because like Hallie was like, what's your background? I used to be in theater. I used to want to be a famous actress. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. That type of jazz. And so for many years, I want to say it's about 5.5 all the way up until right before, the summer of my 20th year. I was working really hard and I started getting lead roles in theater by the time I graduated high school. When I went to college and outside, I performed at the Bushnell Theater of Performing Arts, which is a very big organization. And I started to get into TV and film, and that's a whole different beast. And I was like, okay, this is cool and everything. But I realized through a couple of experiences that that's not the road I wanted to take anymore. And so I was like, all right, what else was it that I was interested in? I looked at my goals that I wrote when I was back in 6th grade, and it was marketing. It was, I want to create my own commercials. I remember being younger and I was telling my mom, hey, you need to buy that. And she would be like, why? I'm like, because it takes the grease away, and we was talking about Dawn, the Dawn dish soap and everything like that. And so, having the ability to see how that just correlates into who I am now is actually a really awesome thing. And when I think about this book that I read, it was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he broke down the difference between the ESBI. That was everything. Does anybody know what an ESBI stands for? If you can name all 4 of what they stand for, I will give you a free pitch session.
And I read that book about 5-6 years ago. I don't even remember what you said about, because I was at work, so I used to work overnight. So before, I kind of relaxed at work, because I used to work with patients with mental disability. So I would read that book around 1 or 2 days, but I would be half asleep. But I got to read that book again. But yeah, I don't remember any of those things you mentioned.
No doubt. I got you, though. I got you. And it's an excellent book, too. So the ESBI, if I was a teacher, say my career goal is to teach, right? In the E quadrant, that would mean I would be an employee. So that means I would be working as a teacher at a school. If I was the S quadrant, that's a self-employed teacher, that means essentially kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm teaching, right? And then I can also charge people to teach them consultations. So that's an example of self-employed as a teacher, right? Then the B quadrant is the business owner, where I create a business and I hire teachers to do the work for me, and I just manage them. And then the I quadrant is like, you know what? I want to purchase a school, and I'm going to be an investor of this school, where I hire the manager and and have the manager hire the employees to teach, if that makes sense. And so that's the ESBI. And so when I read that, does anybody have any questions about that real quick? All right. So when I read that, I was like, oh, yes, definitely. Ideas and investments. That's something that I've always wanted to get paid for. Definitely the ideas. And then after reading that book, investments. So I think about long term. I think about people like Warren Buffett and how he invests. And the man's a genius. The reason, to get Coca-Cola, right? To purchase Coca-Cola, be in there, and to literally move the price up 1 cent just increased his bottom line. 1 cent went from what I think 97 cents to 98 cents on the products and everything like that. And across the world with the Coca-Cola brand, he just increased his bottom line. And so that was a major power move in such a subtle way. And back to the subtle ways, right? When we think about atomic habits, it's little things added up over time to where it just turns into this phenomenal thing. And the reason why I like Warren Buffett is because the man reads six hours a day. So he's operating on 42 hours of just knowledge each and every single week. Meanwhile, everybody's watching on average 4 hours of television per day. Imagine if that was educational content. You know what I'm saying? We all know the quote, if you want to hide something from a black, put it in a book. That's why I'm obsessed with reading and being a walking book for our people. Bump that. We gonna get this knowledge. And I have syphilis, right? I told him, I said, look, y'all need to read this book. And I'm like, did y'all read it yet? I sent y'all the book. Did y'all read it yet? I was going after them. I'm persistent and everything like that. And one brother, he was like, why you want us to read this book so bad? I said, because when I start making money, I'm not going to be your bank. I'd rather make an investment knowing that you're good. He's the only one that read the book. So when it comes to what we do long term, he can hit me up. You know what I'm saying? We make investments together. That's what it's about. We can talk about these things. And so it's definitely important to make sure you rock that out. So next question. What are your giving goals? Think about time. Think about service. Think about money. The reason why I ask about your giving goals, because it's one thing to make money. It's another thing to make sure you're putting it in places that can grow. You want to plant amazing seeds, you guys. This is why it's important to find something that means something to you, because when you find what means something to you, you're going to be able to pour into it, like what LeBron James did with the school. And that's what's important. So you don't want to make money just to make money. You want to make sure that you're giving to things that mean something to you. Think about your family, the stuff that they went through. Could you create a could you create a nonprofit or a 501c3 in their honor so that you can pour into them, because that means something to you? Like I said, my great grandmother, she had diabetes. I really want one of my giving goals to be $2 million to help prevent diabetes and fight them in holistic ways. So we got some new people in the room. If you guys can introduce yourselves real quick, that'd be great. Cannaboss, Seth, Pocahontas, and Regina, if you'd like to come up, feel free to. We're going to have some more fun as we go through the goal identification. Then we're going to hop into the corporation aspect. So please introduce yourself real quick.
Hey, I'm Cannaboss. I am a cannabis activist, attorney, and business consultant.
Heck yes. Seth, give it to us, sir.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Seth. I'm an accountability coach, professional speaker, and a podcaster.
Heck yes, Seth. Heck yes. And once I get through this portion, I would love to hear how your Saturday went, because I know you was doing something awesome, and I know we both had prior commitments, but I do look forward to being at the next one and having some fun with what you bring to the table. So thank you guys for introducing yourselves, and you guys, if you guys ever want to come up, just feel free to raise your hand, and we have some fun because there's going to be another opportunity where everybody's going to go through and drop their pitch so everybody can hear what people are doing, and there's that ability to network, especially as we transition into the second half of today's room. And so know that Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. Eastern to 11 a.m. Eastern, you will definitely be able to hear some amazing things, be poured into, encouraged, have the ability to network and collaborate, and get some free education and have some fun. And replays will be available because the rooms are recorded. And so yeah, let's have some fun. All right, so next question. What has happened in your life that has caused you to go after it? One of the great examples that I'll use personally is frustration. It's amazing. You know, it's so funny because in my younger 20s, I'm 30 now. But to be honest with you, I was like, man, I'd be happy on an island by myself. I'd be so happy on an island by myself. I didn't need anything, need anybody. But then I started to see what was going on in the world. And when I saw what was going on in the world, I was like, yo, I got to do something. And the reason why I wanted to do something was because I saw that nobody else was doing it. And so I said, all right, God, if you want me to be one of the solution makers, to actually make a change in this world, then I need to be able to impact hundreds of thousands of people at the very minimum. Because sitting by doing nothing, it ain't going to work, especially if nobody's doing anything. And so frustration has been one of the things that has caused me to get up off my ass, get out here and do something. And then that's kids, that's with my family, that's with what we're doing here, right? I think about, you know, the potential of the app that we're on. There's so much stuff that we can do, and there's so many things that we can rock with it. So with that, real quick, before we finish up, I would like the awesome Alaric to introduce himself, because he's going to be taking over the second portion once we finish rocking it out. Please introduce yourself, Alaric. That's IE Experts Consult right there.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Imani, for the introduction. My name is Alaric. I work for IE Experts Consulting, and what we do is we help people build up their personal credit and use their personal credit as sureties to build up their business credit. We also help them build corporate structures. So if anyone is interested in building corporate structures, it's actually what we're going to be talking about this morning, just to preface it, a few corporate structures that may be beneficial for you. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about this morning, and I will pass it back to Imani.
Right on. Thank you, Mr. Alaric. Much appreciation. So you guys, if you haven't gotten your pen or paper, please make sure you do. Also be encouraged to know that we are recording. We are recording so that there's access to replays, and we're going to have some fun as we encourage each other to grow. So the next question, what makes you different from everybody else? The reason why you want to know the answer to this question concerning who you are and what you're bringing to the table is because when we go to the grocery store, we see thousands of different brands of bread. Does that mean anyone's less valuable than the other? No. That means that there's a type of bread for everybody. I like naan. I like pita. I like potato bread. One of my friends, one of my closest friends that you talk about, she took a picture of a sandwich that she had. I was like, girl, is that potato bread? She was like, yo, we going to have fun together. I said, yes, sis. We're going to have some great eating contests and everything like that. And so each type of bread has its place. What you bring to the world has its place. And so you got to know what makes you different, because there's a few of us in here, we have backgrounds in marketing, we have backgrounds in graphic design, but we each serve different types of audiences. And that's one of the things that makes you different. Maybe you resonate more with women. Maybe you resonate more with men. Maybe you resonate with the elderly. You know what I'm saying? You got to know who's receiving from what you bring to the table, because those are the special things that make you different from everybody else. So another question is, why must this happen for you now? Why is it that you're going after these goals? What makes now, today, this year, 2022, so important that you actually put your all into what God has called you to do, or whatever your faith is, into what your purpose has called you to do. Why must this happen for you now? The reason why we ask this question is because if you don't know your why, how are you going to get up? How are you going to get up and rock things out? How are you going to push through when the motivation runs out? Because to be honest with you, it's discipline. Discipline is way more important, because when you don't feel like it, when you're upset, when you're getting into an argument or something like that, you got to still be able to put your work hat on, get your entrepreneurial hustle on, and make it happen. So another question is, what would happen if you didn't achieve your goals? Think of the last 5 years. And this is where it's going to hurt. You want to think about those worst opportunities, those worst things that happen when you did not achieve your goals, because these are the consequences. I'll give an example. Here's a great example, right? When one of the things that gets me going is when I think about the jobs I've worked at. Now, I can go into a business without zero experience, and I've been offered, higher positions in corporations or in the restaurant business, right? But it didn't make me happy. And I would get so bored, or they would be like, hey, we want you to train you for a leadership position, right? And then I'm looking at how they're treating the leaders now. I'm like, you want me to come and be the supervisor, yet you have a supervisor here working 4 stations for an entire lunch hour, extremely beat, extremely burnt out. Like, y'all not going to treat me like this. And I started to think about, I got to get out here. And when I started doing the math in my head, I'm like, okay, so after taxes, this is how much I'm making per hour. I'm like, shoot, look, I could be out on the street with a sign that says dancing for dollars and start popping and locking like old school, put some cardboard on and start, doing some little back spins or some joint like that. When I started to think like that, I was like, I got to get out this place because it ain't going to work. So you really want to think about those consequences, because I do not want to go back to work for somebody else. Bump that. I'd rather be out here putting that time in for the bigger goal, opposed to working for somebody else. So you got to think about that. So we're almost done. Then we're going to take a quick minute, like an intermission. Everybody go ahead and introduce their pitch and their brand. Take 30 seconds to introduce yourselves, and then we're going to go ahead and transition over to IE experts. So next question is, we're talking about, can you wipe your butt? Funny question. Why? This is one of my mentors. He gave me this question. I said, that's funny. I'm like, why you say that? He's like, because you want to know if you know how to wipe your butt, or if you need help wiping your butt. Now, we're not talking literally. This isn't Julian, Big Daddy, I wipe my own ass. No, this ain't that. This is, how do you best learn, and how do you learn efficiently? If you need more of a guidance, or if you need to see it, if you are a visual learner, if you need to hear it, and then you're able to produce, then that's the type of learner you are, and that's what you can rock and roll with. So you also want to ask yourself, what actions do you take that bring in the most money and happiness? So if it's you out here dancing, you know what I'm saying, rocking it out, and it makes you happy, and it's bringing money in, then you're going to want to start to do more of that, more than anything else. Then you want to ask yourself, what causes you to make progress? Thinking back to what drove the action. For me, it was frustration. It was when I think about, my clients who book with me, it's like, what? I have to get up, because I want to make sure that I handle my business. I have an honor. I have to honor my word. I get to honor my word. Let me phrase that. I get to honor my word. I get to take care of my clients. And it is my clients that actually get me up, because I could lay down and relax, but it's like, nah, I got to get up and make this progress. And then another question is, final question actually, what motivates you when you are sleepy, but you still get up? You guys, these are deeper questions that you could just play with, and you could find out what's going to make you happy, what's going to get you going. If you got to write your vision board or your goals, your big, hard goals, and put them joints in your ceiling, so when you open your eyes first thing in the morning, you see that joint, you go through that list, and then you get up and you rock it out. So with all of those questions, you're going to want to summarize each section into one sentence, and then create your entire profile. Print this sucker out, put it in safe places. You can see it every day, and you'll be able to rock it out. So does anybody have any questions? Because that's the goal identifier right there. You can go through all of those questions. You can answer them. The replay will be available. But does anybody have any questions before we get into everybody sharing what they do again, so everybody can network and collaborate before we switch over to the corporation side? No questions? All right, so feel free to, if you want, please go ahead, share and introduce yourself because we had new people come in and out, and I'm certain not everybody heard what everybody's bringing to the table. So this is the opportunity for you to flaunt your stuff. Don't be shy. Tell people what you do, what you're bringing to the table, maybe also how they can reach you. So if you want, I'll go first. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Imani Allen. I provide marketing consultations as well as services to help you reach your significant impact. It's about something way bigger than us, and I want to encourage you and pour all of my best information and knowledge and resources into you so that you can rock it out on a brand new day. All right. Anybody else, feel free to hop up off your mic, share what you do, and then I will be making Mr. Alec will actually be the master moderator as we transition over.
Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Alaric. I'm just introducing IE Experts Consulting. What we do, we help small businesses get connected with the government for government contracting opportunities, help them get certified, have the right documentation so that they're able to qualify for money that the government gives out on a constant basis. I believe last year, the government gave out over $2 billion just in California. I know I think I may be undershooting that, but they gave out over $2 billion in government contracting money to small businesses and disadvantaged businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. So I used to previously work for the California Black Chamber of Commerce. So I want to spread the awareness about this because it seems like a lot of people don't know that you can actually do business with the government, not only on the federal level, but the state and city level as well. So that's a little bit about me, of course, and we do corporate structures, and we also help people fix their personal credit.
All right. Does anybody have any questions? Because this is that opportunity because more notes is what you guys will be able to take right now. But I want to make sure that you guys are heard and you guys are appreciated. And thank you so much for being here. We are here every day, Monday through Friday. And then Tuesdays through Thursdays, you're going to be able to hear from the awesome IE experts. Expert right here, Mr. Alaric. And we're going to have some fun pouring into you. So if anybody has any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace before we get into it.
Well, I don't have any questions, but I'm moving around, but I'm still listening.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. I think the floor is yours, sir. You got it. You got it. I'm here to support.
Thank you. All right. Like Imani mentioned, everybody, we appreciate you joining us this morning because time is the most valuable asset that we have in this lifetime. So I appreciate you spending it with us. And in return, I will be giving you guys business tips, like you said, Tuesday through Thursday. Just keep tapping in, and we will be giving out solid pieces of information. And of course, if you want to reach out, you can reach out to us by email. If you have any questions that pertain to your situation specifically, because everyone's situation is different. So, what I wanted to start out with is, how's everybody doing this morning? Can we get a health check, real fast? Is everybody good? Are you in a position to say yes or no?
Yeah, I can. I'm trying to order groceries and listen to him, but I'm doing well. I did want to introduce myself again, but I think I'm kind of late. I was not on the app, but I'm doing well, and I pray everyone in the room is doing well as well.
Excellent. It's great to hear from you this morning, Sarah. I pray that Hallie and Cannabis, is that how you say it? Cannabis, yeah. Cannabis. Do you have what do you do? I seen your profile.
Or I can go over that again. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 25 years. I'm also a cannabis activist, and I started a company called Evergreen Solutions back in 2018. We are a full-service cannabis consulting firm. We assist with applications, compliance, networking, supply chain, you name it. And recently we've added a component where we help small businesses and individuals looking to get into the legitimate cannabis space to identify their strengths, pivot their companies. So for instance, if you're a graphic designer or you're a nurse or you work in construction or delivery, no matter what business you're in, our motto is that we can help you see how you can tap into the $30 billion cannabis business, and you can pivot either your entire business or a portion thereof to service needs in this growing and emerging market. We function in all 50 states. I have account managers that do legal and non-legal consulting services, from formulation of a business through the putting together of the business team, so on and so forth. All the elements that you'll need to either get a license in your state or at least to figure out how to be part of the cannabis space.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. It's a pleasure to have you on this call today because I haven't ran into a lot of people like you as far as being able to position people. It's been a while. Like when I worked at the chamber, we were actually working on that. So it's beautiful to see that it actually came to fruition. That was a few years ago. But I'm interested in maybe connecting with you to ask you some more questions if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And I founded the National Association of Black Cannabis Lawyers. So when you were talking about your affiliation with the Chamber and other such organizations, I'm like, that's another huge thing that we're looking to do, is to make sure that there are Black lawyers involved with the national legislation for what's happening, not on the state level, but as we move towards national legislation, just making sure that things such as social equity and justice are integral parts of whatever cannabis law the country puts forward.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I actually have a contact for you that you may be interested in speaking with to push that whole initiative forward.
Awesome. Definitely love to connect on that.
All right. Perfect. JB Johns.
Sorry, getting this beard together, people. But yeah, JB Johns. Me and my fiance, we run a fashion company, getting a brand together for the ladies and gentlemen side. She handles most of the design aspects. I handle most of the business aspects. Right now, we're doing vendor events all over, and we also run a fashion consulting side to show people that you can really dress up and look very presentable and very nice for not much at all, instead of spending your money on high grade stuff. So that's what I do.
Exactly. That's amazing. All right. I love it. Well, it seems like the bulk of us here are business owners, so I don't want to bore you guys too much with the simple stuff. We're just going to go over business structures, and I want to talk about a little bit of what we do here at IE Experts. So without further ado, when beginning a business, you must decide on what entity you want to establish, and that determines the income tax return you have to file. Most common forms of businesses are sole proprietorship, corporation, and an S corp. A limited liability company is a structure allowed by state statute, and tax considerations and legal considerations you have to consider those things when you're choosing your business. For me, personally, a limited liability, I would like to start with a limited liability corporation in this company, and this is why. I feel like it doesn't really give you the protection that you're looking for as far as what another corporation or S corp would give you. I'm not getting down on LLCs, but I don't really see, as far as if you want to be protected, why you would use that, because it's actually connected to your social security number, and if there was something to go wrong, someone can attach themselves directly to the assets that you use to purchase. I mean, as far as anything that you use your social for, they can attach themselves to. So, a limited liability LLC company is a business structure allowed by state statute. Each state may use different regulations, so you should check with your state if you're interested in starting an LLC. Most owners of an LLC are called members. Most states do not restrict ownership, so some members may include individuals. You can be a person, just a regular person, and be a member of a corporation or an LLC. You can be a corporation, which then if you are a member of an LLC through a corporation, that provides a lot more protection than just being an individual. And other LLCs and foreign entities. So you can have a foreign entity and be a member of an LLC. There are no maximum members of an LLC. Most states also permit single member LLC, so only having one owner. A few types of businesses generally cannot be LLCs, such as banks and insurance companies. Check your state's requirements and federal tax regulations for further information. So depending on an election made by an LLC, usually you would file an 8832 if you would like to be treated as a corporation. And see, what I'm getting this information from the Internal Revenue Manual itself, because this is where I go to, check anything as far as when someone tells me about a company or new rules changing. These are the people that you want to go to. What I would say, the best way how I live my life as an entrepreneur, I do everything through my business. So I've transferred all my assets to my business. My car. Recently, I'm in the middle of purchasing an investment property that would be going under my business. Anything that I do, any type of meals that I have, all of that type of stuff goes under my business. And I tell you why. Doing that, you will actually save money as an entrepreneur. So they have a app called Keeper Tax. At first, I was nervous about this app because you have to connect it to your bank card and your credit cards, anything that you want the app to keep track of. But where this app really helped me out, anytime I slid my card anywhere, if I ordered DoorDash, anything that I did, the app would actually classify the purchase as some type of either 1099 activity or, were you discussing business at this lunch, or it'll actually text you and ask you these questions, and all you have to do is reply yes or no. And it will, do the calculations for you as far as your taxes, your tax return goes that year for your business. And at the end of the year, you're able to just tap into the app and take all that information and put it on your tax return, or you can just file your taxes directly through the app. So they're really trying to make it very easy for us as entrepreneurs to kind of get our whole tax situation taken care of. Or if you just want to take all that information and give it to your tax person. I was a licensed tax preparer for about 3 years, and I will tell you, when someone does that, I love that customer. When they have all their information, how it's supposed to be, all their receipts or, their proof of whatever evidence of anything that they spend, when they have it all organized, it's beautiful. So this will be file or tax keeper tax, and apps like that will be your best friend as an entrepreneur. So an S Corp are corporations that elect to pass corporate income, losses, deductions, and credits through their shareholders for federal tax purposes. If I'm going too fast, you guys, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Shareholders of an S Corp report the flow-through of income and losses on their personal taxes and are assessed tax at their individual tax income rates. This allows S Corps to avoid double taxation on the corporate income. S corporations are responsible for tax on certain built-in gains and passive income at the entity level. To qualify for an S corporation, status, the corporation must meet the following requirements: be a domestic corporation, have only allowable shareholders, may be individuals, certain trusts and estates, and may not be partnerships, corporations, or non-resident alien shareholders. They another requirement: have no more than 100 shareholders, have only one class of stock, and not be an eligible corporation, i.e. certain financial institutions, insurance companies, and domestic international sales corporations. In order to become an S Corp, the corporation must submit a Form 2553, election by a small business corporation signed by all the shareholders. So then you can see the instructions for the Form 2553. A lot of those forms, if you read the instructions, they are written at an 8th grade level. They're required to be written at an 8th grade level. So if you read the instructions, they have a lot of, I know a lot of us don't have time to, but it would definitely save time or save you time in the future and money if you just read the instructions sometimes and, follow the instructions exactly, especially with the government. The government wants you to do things exactly how they ask you to do them. And if you do them that way, most of the time, you will be in the government's favor. And I'll talk more about that when it comes to when we have our session on government contracting and getting certified to do business with the government as well. So forming a corporation and the formation of a corporation. So the difference between an S Corp and a C Corp. An S Corp is more a small corporation. A C Corp is a larger corporation. I think over a C Corp is over 500 employees or something to that effect. In forming a corporation, prospective shareholders exchange money, property, or both for the corporation's capital stock. A corporation generally takes the same deduction as a sole proprietorship to figure its taxable income. A corporation can also take special deductions. For federal income tax purposes, a C corporation is recognized as a separate paying entity. A corporation conducts business and realizes net income or loss, pays taxes, and distributes profits to shareholders. So basically, that means that a corporation is an entity itself. So is an S corp, and it pays out to its shareholders. It distributes profits to shareholders. Now, one way we really should all be setting up our corporations is it's not the same, but one way we should be setting up our corporations is by, of course, getting a payroll and a payroll company. Like, what's a payroll company? What's that payroll? I forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue. But if you set yourself up with a payroll company, instead of just, saying that, once you have your articles of incorporation, whatever other business paperwork, like business license that you need to operate your business, that's not all that that's not a complete business setup. You want your business to run as if like you were going to have a resume and sign up for someone else's business. Just like if you were going to work for Walmart. Once you start working for Walmart, you give them your W-9 and everything like that, and then they start giving you a paycheck. You're on the payroll as an employee, and they give you a paycheck. However you can set it up like that, you want to set it up because now you're able to kind of function as you would in society, and it's easier to function that way, depending on your situation. But you want to be able, what I'm trying to say is you want to totally make the separation between you and the business entity. You don't want to work in your business, you want to work on your business. So the profit of a corporation is taxed to the corporation when earned, and then it's taxed to the shareholders when distributed as dividends. This creates a double tax. The corporation does not get a tax deduction when it distributes dividends to shareholders. Shareholders cannot deduct any loss of the corporation. If you are a C Corp, if you are a C corporation, use the information in the chart below to help you determine some of the forms that you may be required to file. Corporations that have assets of 10 million or more file at least 250 returns annually, are required to electronically file their forms 1120 and 1120S for the tax years ending on or after December 31st, 2007. So all this information I will be like compiling in kind of every session that we do one of these. Next session, I believe we're talking about government contracting. I'll compile a PDF or one-pager, not too much information that's going to be overwhelming, and I will be giving this out to people that are interested as far as when it comes to starting a business. If you don't already have a business, if you're interested in having these forms, you'll have them. So for a partnership is a relationship between two or more people to do a trade or business. Each person contributes money, property, a labor or skill, and shares in the profits and losses of the business. Reporting of partnership income. A partnership must file an annual information return to report the income, deductions, gains, losses, etc. from its operations. But it does not pay income tax. Instead, it passes through profits or losses to its partners. Each partner reports their share of the partnership income or loss on their personal tax return. Partners are not employees and shouldn't be issued a Form W-2. The partnership must furnish copies of a Schedule K-1, which is a Form 1065, to the partner. For deadlines, you can see about Form 1065 or U.S. Return of Partnership Income. Does anyone have any questions I should ask? Anyone have any questions? I know that this can sometimes seem like a little boring, but it's really actually important information when it comes to starting a company and how you want to get everything rolling, especially when you start from here and when you talk about business credit. But we'll talk about that in a second. So a sole proprietor this is the last type of business, the fifth business. A sole proprietor is someone who owns an unincorporated business by himself or herself. However, if you're the sole member of a domestic limited liability company, you are not a sole proprietor. If you elect to treat the LLC as a corporation. If you are a sole proprietor, use the information in the chart below. That will help you determine some of the forms you may be used to require. So, sole proprietor is kind of just like an LLC. It doesn't really have too much protection because, of course, once again, you're putting yourself out there with your social security number. That's going to be, I believe, like the thing that most companies ask for. And because you're identified, your entity is identified as a sole proprietorship, you'll be held liable for what happens with the sole proprietorship. Now, as far as when it comes to liability, one thing that I would suggest, one thing that I've been using for the last couple of years, I believe since I started my company in 2019, is Hiscox Business Insurance. Hiscox Business Insurance is a reputable small business insurance, very affordable. $75 a month will get you $2 million in coverage. Either $75 a month or $365 a year. But that will cover up to $2 million for anything that happens with your business. They cover any theft of business property, any damage of business property if your office burns down, or if something happens to your company car, as long as it's under, it's registered under your company. They will provide you, say someone said that you caused them harm, or you tried to, do some type of something. If, say, you had a business dispute, any type of business dispute with a person, the Hiscox Business Insurance will either give you the money to get your own attorney or provide an attorney for you, even if it was your fault. So that's a good resource right there to kind of have under your hat as far as when it comes to liability purposes, especially if you're going to be a sole proprietor or if you're going to have an LLC.
Excuse me, what that resource was? I got a call and I blanked, but I just was curious what resource you're talking about.
Hiscox Business Insurance, HISCOX Business Insurance, or you can go to hiscox.com.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. You can customize exactly what you need as far as what fits your business needs, and they will give you a quote. Very affordable, very affordable. So I say all this stuff to say the next thing that we're going to be getting into is business credit structures and the importance of being your own financier when it comes to being an entrepreneur. A lot of people are not taught how to build a corporation correctly when starting out. A lot of the times, say for example, I have a t-shirt business, and the t-shirt business is based off of what's a clothing company. It's based off of spreading financial awareness in disadvantaged and underserved communities. But in order to start that business, of course, I would need t-shirts, I need vinyl, I need heat press machines, I need all that type of stuff. So what we do here at IE Experts, we teach people after we teach them how to fix their personal credit. We teach people how to fish. We just don't give them fish. We actually teach you how to fish and tell you why things are happening so that in the future you can self-correct before you get to that point, or you can fix it yourself. We teach people how to build their business using trade lines, how to get an AD Paydex, how to get a DUNS number, because there's two different ways to get a DUNS number. You get a DUNS number as a U.S. contractor, as a government contractor, or you can get a DUNS number just as a regular business. We teach you how to get a DUNS number as a contractor. We show you how to basically leverage and network with government contracting agents and different people that will, like people from SCORE Business Mentors, that will help you to answer the questions that are hard as an entrepreneur. Like there's a few things. I actually spoke with a business mentor. I have a few business mentors, but I spoke with a business mentor the other week, and he told me something simple that I would tell someone else, and it's like sometimes you need to have somebody on the outside of your situation looking in to give you simple advice that will help you move forward. And he told me, sometimes you can be, just to be candid, he said sometimes you can get in the way of your own sale just trying to present too much to the public. As far as he was looking at my website, my clothing website, and which is, by the way, wisdomiswealth.net. We're going to be doing a special sale this month because it's Financial Literacy Month. But he was just giving me advice on how to just simplify things, and that's kind of how the approach that I'm taking when it comes to trade lines and getting an AD Paydex, a DUNS number. Connecting with the government so that you're able to do government business, because a lot of the times we get upset that people are not patronizing our business when we need to figure out how to go get business ourselves. And small business is the cornerstone of America, and the government in America actually rewards people for opening businesses and doing business with them. There was something in 1933 that Roosevelt signed called the New Deal, and part of that New Deal was the government signing a contract to do business with the private sector. The private sector is us, the entrepreneurs of the United States and the world. The small businesses actually create the bigger businesses, because what happens, for example, when I worked at the California Black Chamber of Commerce, we had these meetings called pre-bid meetings, right? In these pre-bid meetings, there will be companies there that are called primes. For example, one of these primes would be a company called Granite. Granite is a construction company, and it's a huge construction company. They get millions of dollars each year from government contracts. So what happens is
And this is what happens on a bigger scale. This is just like what do they call it? A microcosm of a macrocosm. So what happens is you go to these pre-bid meetings, with your company. Say you had a construction company. You go to these pre-bid meetings and you would talk to these primes and get to know these primes, because what happens is the primes are the ones that actually get the big check from the government. They get the $100 million check. And so what they're supposed to do with the check is they're supposed to take the check and spread it out to get whatever project done. So say, for example, Granite does a lot of highway construction projects. So when you see those guys on the road with the cones and hard hats and they're directing traffic, and then you got the guys that have the hard tools that are working on the road, those could actually be 3 different companies. One company holding the cones and the flags, one company, directing the traffic, and another company that's actually doing the work. The prime hired those 3 companies from the money that they got from the government, and they kind of filtered it down. They took their administration fee, and then they gave the money to companies that they had the capabilities to complete the project. It works like that on every level for every different, not only for construction, for IT, for security. They have contracts for T-shirts. I just recently seen the contracts for the Army. The Army and the Navy put out contracts because they need PT shirts, physical training shirts. And the company, the Army, they needed over 1,700 shirts. And so that jobs like that get passed out to small businesses. So that is what our company is in existence for, is to spread the awareness that, hey, you don't have to just rely on the public to do business. You can actually do business with the government, and it's actually more lucrative because the government will give you contracts. Once you complete one contract successfully for the government, then you are looked at as trustworthy in the government's eyes, so you can continue to get those contracts as long as you show up and to the pre-bid meetings and talk to the right person. Because really, it's not about the bid. The government contracting game, I like to call it, is about people. It's about knowing people, getting in good with people, building a good rapport with people. So the better rapport that you have with people that work in the government, that's their job too. So they just want to make sure that they hire a company that's capable of doing the job, and if that company is reliable, then they have no reason to go anywhere else. So just keep that in mind for the next talk that we're going to have. I will open up this next 30 minutes for anyone that has any questions, comments, or concerns.
I do have a question. By the way, I worked as a tax preparer for 11 years, and I still have my enrolled agency status, so it's good to hear that you work as a tax preparer. The question I have is, me and my fiance have it set up as a partnership LLC. Would it be better if we set it up as an S Corp, or should we wait till it grow a little bit more?
So I would say it depends on how you guys. So yes, I would say first of all yes, just because if you want to be protected, then from liability, then yes. So my first question actually should be, is there a specific reason that you set it up as a partnership?
Didn't want the typical LLC. Didn't know any better, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. It's definitely fine. Because some people use it to try to build their business credit fast because they're using their social directly. So I would just go ahead and really what you can do is, like I said, I will send you, if you give me your email address, I will send you this this sheet that I have that shows you different corporations, different types of entities and business structures. And if you click on S Corp, it'll take you directly to the form that you need to file, which is the form 2553, to just change that election from a partnership to an S corp.
Okay, so I don't need Form 8332.
I believe that is a power of attorney form. Let me take a look at that if I'm not mistaken. Or is that the entity class form? Partnership. Yeah, you would need, according to IRS, the form 2553. Now, I'm looking at the filing requirements. It doesn't say something about the 8832. That's the
I always get right. I always get confused with those two. So
yeah. I see that one. I see the 8832 eligible entities. So you would. An eligible entity uses Form 8832 to elect how to be classified for federal tax purposes as a corporation or partnership. So you're trying to change from a partnership to an S corp.
Right.
So you would use the 2553.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Is there any other questions or comments or concerns? I know it was kind of short today. Imani, did you have anything? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I run my business currently as a sole proprietor, and I've been doing a little research on which I wanted to file under, and I definitely agree with the whole LLC being tied to you thing. Would an S corp be the best filing? Because I do like retail. I have a retail store, online retail store.
Okay. I would say so. And once again, I'm just speaking off my experience and off of things happening to my business and me being protected by, my insurance. The S corp. So this is the example that I use. If you were working at McDonald's and you were flipping the burgers, and the burger, somebody came back to you and said, "Hey, there's a roach in my burger," right? They would not be able to sue you personally because you were making the burgers. They would actually have to sue the company. So that leaves you're protected by the corporate umbrella or the corporate veil of the company. So that, yes, I would definitely use an S corp if you're in that type of thing, just so that you can, it just separates you from the company itself as far as liability goes. So you still control the company, but you're not liable for anything that the company does. And then if your company does injure someone, you would have that insurance to be able to, remedy that person or company, whoever it is.
Okay, thank you. Because I just kind of felt like the LLC and the sole proprietor were technically the same thing.
Yeah, technically it is. Technically, as far as, especially with liability.
Okay, thank you.
And so after
Imani, go ahead, take it away.
Oh no, I got a question because you already know I'm still learning.
You sound kind of far away.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm still learning, and I know right now technically I'm an LLC, and so it's after. So you guys, Mr. Alaric is actually showing me and building my business credit, right, so that I can actually qualify for the government contracts, which I'm super excited for. And so after that business credit is built, am I then switching over to an S corp or something different? Because I think that's dope.
So, it just really, I believe you can switch over at any time. What I would say would be to switch over before you start to build your business credit, just in case they give you a new EIN number or anything like that. Because your business credit is attached to your EIN number. Your EIN number is like a social security number for your business.
Well, right on.
So if you're thinking about making the switch, I would make it as early as possible.
Right on, right on. Thank you so much for answering that. Yeah, because there's so much, like, this is it's like, okay, so I took chemistry because it was a challenge. I ended up failing chemistry, so this is definitely, you know what I'm saying, a learning opportunity, because there's a lot that I don't know. But that's so cool. Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right, well, that's it for me today. If there's no more questions, please join us for tomorrow. We'll be talking some more about corporations, government contracting, getting deeper into the good stuff. This is just the beginning. We will be here Tuesday through Thursday every week until. Is there a certain time, Iman?
No, we rocking this joint up because we're also creating content. So, like, you guys, the replays will be available definitely in our subscriptions, but we will also make sure that there are some pieces of content, especially important aspects, that people will be able to see for free. But know that every day, especially Tuesday through Thursday specifically, we go into corporations as well. And then Monday through Friday, I'm going to help you guys with the foundation and with marketing strategies so that you can get ready and prepare to really scale and expand your business. So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. And if there's no more questions, Pocahontas, thank you for rocking with us. Know that we'll be here, and I just gave you a follow. So yeah, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. And if there are no more questions, then Mr. Alaric, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Close the room, and you guys have a phenomenal day. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, have a great day as well.
All right, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
Ooh, that's a horrible shot. Ooh, FaceTime. He's probably trying to call me.